Losing my religion didn't ruin my life. It exposed the lie that I was living. And now I'm able to transcend that lie, transmute that lie into the light, and take everything that I learned, everything that did resonate, all the connections that I did have with God when I was in religion. I get to use all of that and bring it in to who I am and what I know today. Because losing my faith wasn't failure, it was a threshold for me. Most people, when they lose their faith, think that something went wrong or that they're doing something wrong with their life. And that's why they lost it. But it couldn't be further from the truth. I never felt closer to God than when I eventually found God again after I left my religion, which for me was Catholicism. The transition took some time. It took some grace. It was the most challenging thing that I ever did go through in my life, but man, was it worth it. Because now my relationship with God is something beyond words, beyond scripture, beyond any religious or spiritual practice. You know, the Tao says the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. It is this nameless, formless, unconditionally loving energy that I am now reuniting with. And it's a journey. I don't have it all figured out yet. I'm still learning to be closer and closer with my connection to God, which I have now found to be myself in human form, the unique expression of God in physical form. That's what God to me is now. I didn't lose faith. I lost fear. I lost the fear of God. I lost the fear of what happens if I do this or if I don't do this. My whole relationship with religion was truly built off fear more than it was love. Although I had those connections of love at times in church and in my religious experience, I did. But the majority of the time, I was living in fear. And that's what they taught. Fear the Lord. Fear God. As if that's something positive to do. Losing my religion allowed me to heal myself from those fears. The fears of punishment, the fears of being judged by some God that would send me to hell if I do certain things or don't do certain things. I was trying to be good enough. I was trying to be a good little soldier, and man, I was good at it. I was an altar boy. I did everything that the Catholic faith provides. I did it all. I was fully immersed. And I was so caught up in not doing something wrong that I was not being authentic. I had no idea how to truly be authentic, because when I was taking actions that felt authentic, it felt like God was judging me. It felt like I was sinning. And then that fear comes up, thinking that I'm going to go to hell, and then I go to confession for it. And then the cycle just repeats. It's like this never-ending circle of fear, guilt, and shame that I felt. And when that collapsed, it felt terrifying. It did. I felt lost and alone. But at the same time, the underlying feeling that wasn't felt fully at the time, but I knew and sensed was there, was a feeling of relief. I no longer had to earn my place with God, earn my relationship with God. I could just be me. I was free to make mistakes and not be judged for the mistakes that I make. Not feel like blessings were going to be taken from me because of what I chose to do. I thought I was losing God, but what I was actually losing was the fear of God. Fear disguised as God. And that set me free. After I began this transition, when I fully let go of going to church and being a part of religion, everything that could have happened that would convince me that I have made a huge mistake and that God is punishing me happened. I lost a relationship that I was in. My back went out to where I couldn't go to work. I was bedridden for a long time, still dealing with it to this day. I had an experience of smoking laced marijuana without me knowing it, which caused me to go into a panic and a tailspin, and my life has never been the same since. And on top of that, I felt like I had lost my sense of who I am in this world because my old identity was gone. I didn't know who I was anymore. And I could have, and I almost did at one point, let those circumstances convince me that this is God's punishment, this is God's wrath. I need to go back to church, I need to confess my sins, get on my knees, and beg for forgiveness. But I knew deep down in my heart, something was telling me, just keep going. Stay in this, lean into this darkness, the dark night of the soul. That's what happened next. I could not force myself to believe in something that didn't feel true anymore. And that tension cracked open a part of me so deep in my soul that I couldn't argue with it. And I was on the search for God. And here's something that I really, really want you to know, is that the pain didn't actually destroy my faith. It exposed what was no longer real for me. Pain didn't destroy my faith. It exposed what was real and what was not real for me. So I stopped outsourcing truth and started experiencing it for the first time. I started asking myself not what is right, but what actually feels right. Not what is true, but what feels true within me. And that little question changed everything for me. My faith became experiential, not something that was replayed over and over again, like all the beads of the rosary, or saying certain prayers at certain times, or going to church on certain days, but something that was lived from an authentic experience. And I started letting that be my guiding light to restoring my faith. And for the first time in my life, I stopped believing and I started knowing the deeper truth of how much God truly, truly does love me. So much that nothing that I ever do could ever separate me from the love of God. And thus came the healing journey. Losing my religion gave me living, breathing faith. Something that fluctuates, something that moves, something that isn't stagnant or written in stone. It was something that I could experience from what I felt inside resonated. Because there was plenty of decisions when I was in religion and choices that I made that felt good and like the right decision, but that religion deemed as inappropriate or sinful. And I stopped giving into that, and I began to live again. I no longer feel disconnected or unworthy. I feel included in creation. I feel like my life has true purpose because I'm not always in the back of my mind asking myself, is this pleasing God or is this upsetting God? And therefore my relationship with God became alive, direct, and personal. A personal relationship with God. Not where God is above or below me, but where God is equal to me because I am the God that I prayed to in church. It was a tough pill to swallow at first, no doubt. And it's a journey that I'm still on. But I gave myself permission. And my life now feels like a collaboration with God. And it doesn't feel like I'm trying to earn something, earn the trust of God, earn the loyalty of God, earn the love of God, earn the favor of God. It's just simply an open-hearted communication that I can now hear because I know that what feels good actually is good with discernment. I didn't lose my connection with God. I lost everything that was in the way of that connection. And so if you are going through something similar, I honor you. The transition is not a simple one. It's not an easy one. It is challenging. But you can do it. You can get through it. You can find that relationship with the Creator once more. And it'll be stronger than it ever was before. Because now, conditions and circumstances don't matter. Only your connection and your relationship to God matter. So, if you're losing your religion right now, don't panic. You might be ready to finally find the truth. Keep going.